Artificial intelligence is said to be new electricity. Yeah, that's definitely right. But we have to at the same time remember that AI is way older than electricity. We tend to think that AI came somewhere some 3 years ago, but that's not true. In fact, AI has been in science fiction immediately after Darwin's Origin of Species in 1852. At that time, it was not called AI, it was called evolutionary machines. AI as a concept was invented in the 50s, and right after that, it has worked with us in everyday life, like in banking. There are a lot of AI systems checking and making sure our monies are safe. In education, even longer. First, AI applying learning machine was invented in early 20s. Of course, the usability was really awful because it was punch hole card machine. But from intelligence point of view, the performance was pretty close to what we have traditional e-learning management systems nowadays. And finally, jobs. We are so worried that AI, robots, digitalization or automation in general are taking our jobs, but hey, that's been here for 600 years. Machines has taken easy, predictable, dangerous, dirty, and unwanted jobs more than 600 years, but my scale starts from printing press machine in 1432. Well, so the right one, it's not guillotine, it's printing press machine. Guillotine is way more newer. But at the same time, we still tend to think that, okay, this loss of jobs is something new, and this is something terrible happening. And that's true. There is news, reskilling, upskilling, reskilling revolution, change of work, whatever concept we want to use. But in all the case, it's not about that this is something new. The new thing is complexity, because in old world, like during the first industrial revolution, the world was predictable. We could predict what could happen. The changes were understandable. But now the world is complex. Not only technically complex, but I mean politically, socially, in any way, economically complex. And that caused a challenge. And if we think the challenge is only inside the educational system or it is only for a few people, if we follow the MIT's predictions that 85% of the working population will be somehow affected by AI and robots and so on, we end up that it is about 5 billion people globally who need upskilling or some new training in order to keep their job, get a new job, or in general, keep staying in working life. And that's something we want to do. But at the same time, we know that already now 270 million kids can't go to school. More than 1 billion people is looking for upskilling, the education they can't get. And we will definitely not get more teachers nor more money for education. So that's why we have to deal this problem with artificial intelligence, because it's our only choice. So how we have approached it is we use the term lifelong learning, which means that we must have education for people enabled in order they can get jobs. And at the same time, remember that the jobs are because the companies want to do good business. And in order to do good business, they need qualified people. So this is not only job for people or people for companies, but this is an economical structure. We need skills in order to run our economy. And the basic question is not that how many engineers we need this year. The question is, if we don't know what we should teach, we are going to do wrong things. And this goes in every level, no matter if it is vocational, higher education, corporate, internal training, whatever. If we don't know the needs, we are going to fail. And that's why we have developed a cognitive AI that reads natural language and builds predictions based on natural language. And the basic unit for everything is skill. And now, from academic point of view, have to define it a bit more detailed. We don't mean a skill is exact skill. It covers all similar topics like competencies, knowledge, attitudes, motivations, even psychometric factors. So it is any relevant word that might define the employability of person. And this machine reads through millions of job openings weekly basis and converts them to skills. Coming back to that later, how? But convert them to skills and start to build a map about seeking. Seeking in certain industry, in certain place, in certain time. For example, here, what Finnish construction industry is seeking in May 2018. What greener block, that more the skill is searched. And we don't have that yet. We usually tend to think that we need that amount engineers, that amount nurses, but we don't focus on skills. So this is a completely different approach. And we can do the same for curriculums, no matter if they are online or in the schools, vocational schools, higher education, private training institutes. We convert them to skills, because our AI has learned what skills are related to what jobs, what skills are related to other neighborhood jobs, and so on. So these models are fitting together. And we can take, for example, if I go to Finnish vocational school, how much I get skills that are relevant from construction industry searching point of view. And we can see it's pretty good. What greener, that more they get certain skill. And have to highlight that one school system even shouldn't educate all the skills, because this is vocational school, meaning they are building the guys who are really doing the work at the construction site. But at the same time, they are of course looking designers, architects, managers, marketing people, administrative people, and so on. So the skill search is way more larger than just one job. And finally, person. And that's the most difficult part. I think most of you do have LinkedIn. Most of you have sometimes written a CV or resume. We can convert LinkedIn or CVs into skills. Because AI knows the neighborhood, it can suggest you that, hey, because you are a construction engineer, do you know anything about this kind of computations? And then I can say, yes, I do, I don't. But the idea is to build model which is way more detailed than traditional CV, and then we can match you into industry. I'm originally craft teacher, so my fit to construction industry is pretty good. I might get job in construction industry. But then anyone can see in what industry I fit and what extra skills brings me extra possibilities. And in wider scale, now we can see that, okay, with my profile, I don't only fit in software industry, but I also fit in metal industry, in logistics, in somewhere else. And that's very important anyone to understand that with my education and experience, I'm qualified way more wider set of jobs than I can imagine. And by getting a couple of new skills, I have hundreds of new jobs available. And next question is that how you make sure that people has the skills he or she claims to have. Yeah, that's obvious, but that's, I would say, more question that it has been here forever. You have to interview the persons you are going to employ. You have to discuss with people in order to make sure that the person knows the skills he or she says he or she have. But we have a simple test or assessment version, which idea is that because the AI has built the understanding about skills, competencies, attitudes, and so on, it can also make questions based on the mind map that it has in its processes. So the mind map is pretty much the same what you would draw if you were asked that, okay, define your profession as a mind map. And based on this map, it can ask questions that, hey, how this concept is related to this one, or multiple choice question where there is concept A, are B and C or D related to this one, and so on. So we don't need human questions, but we can ask very exact questions this way. It can suggest you further readings, and at the same time understanding testing, giving materials, well, it's pretty much e-learning. So the AI can construct e-learning on fly, almost on any topic that can be found from structurized, not structurized, but well-defined vocabulary. Like if it is found in Wikipedia, it is doable. Idea also is that when I do more skills, my profile evolves. Like here I have only a couple of skills about artificial intelligence, but doing tests and, I have wrong order. Doing tests, reading more content, I can get a full profile. And this is an interface in traditional Moodle environment, but yeah, we have way more cooler interfaces as well, because in learning, the interface is just the interface, but the core is we have to know what you already know, what you need to know, and what is the path towards your target. And those are the key issues. Interfaces are interfaces that brings motivation, helps you to learn, helps you to work with the content. But the core issue is we have to know what you know and where you are going. And basically, if I summarize this, if we want to solve the global skills mismatch, first we have to understand what skills are searched right now. The job openings tells what are searched right now. Investment decisions, forecast reports, research proposals might tell what we need in a couple of years. But the challenge in prediction is always that we don't know the so-called black swans. The vocabulary changes, there are new concepts. The blockchain, for example, it couldn't be predicted that, okay, blockchain will come in 2015 because such word might not exist. So that's the biggest challenge, the new words. But yeah, understanding what is needed, then we have to assess what I already know, and we have to give you these jobs you are already good. With a couple of skills, you get this many new jobs. So this is a career path, direct jobs. And we have to simulate this continuously, because world changes, nothing is staying. So maybe today I have very good job offering, something changes, I have hundreds of more jobs available. But this is something we have to change, not focusing on job titles nor the degrees you have, but you have to focus on skills, because that's the only way you can make sure that your skills are in use in future. Thank you.
Thank you, Harri.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate.